by NFL All Day. My name is Madelyn Burke, alongside Super Bowl champion Shaun O'Hara, Super Bowl champion Victor Cruz. Guys, we've been watching a lot of World Cup lately, and we see a lot of draws in that kind of football, but not so much in this one. The Giants and Commanders, though, come out with a 20-20 tie after nothing happens in overtime here. What was your reaction to this one?
This is an awkward ending. I think the fans didn't know what to do. The players didn't know what to do. Everybody's looking around like, what do we do? Do we get another period? Like, are there like some penalty kicks? Like, what? I would have been all for a kickoff between Gano and the Washington kicker. The Giants today in this game have to feel like they let this one slip away because they had so many opportunities to win this game. They just could not close it out. And offensively, you know, in the second half here, Madelyn, they went to sleep. They had 5 straight possessions where they had 4 plays basically and out. And it just offensively, you can't fall asleep against a great defense like this. This Commanders defense was one of the best in the NFL, and they had an opportunity to really win this game and grab a hold of it, and they just let it slip away. Yeah, going against a defensive front like the Commanders, you got to understand that's going to be a physical ball game from the beginning of the whistle, the very first whistle of the game, all the way through to the end of the fourth quarter, and I think we did that in spurts. Like you said, in the second half, we've had some lulls, couldn't really get our offense going, but the defense continued to grind. Our defense continued to play great and hold them when they needed to. Gave up some big plays here and there, but when it was time to anchor down and come up with that stop or come up with that big play stop, I think we did that for the most part. We just didn't put enough points up today on offense, Shaun. Yeah, this Washington defense, Madelyn, I mean, when you look at what they've done in the league, look, they've won 3 straight. They were 6-1 coming into this game, the best record in the NFL since week 6. They've done it defensively. Still, with this game, they haven't given up more than 20 points in 8 games coming into it, so now 9 straight games. This defense is legit. But I'll say this about the Giants defense. They made an unbelievable amount of plays today. They made enough plays to win this football game. They were not rewarded for it. Welcome back, Azeez Ojulari. You had a huge impact. Strip sack by him, strip sack by Jihad Ward, 5 sacks. Yeah. The defensive pass rush came to life today. Absolutely. Great play by the defense on both sides of the ball. Washington didn't even have Chase Young yet. He will probably make his season debut the next time these two teams play in a couple weeks. But big plays on both sides of the ball. One big play, of course, that 55-yard reception by Darius Slayton. Slayton is on the field with our Paul Dottino right now. Let's send it down.
Well, I know what they say about ties, Darius. A very hard-fought game. How does a tie taste to you at this point?
It's pretty bitter. We had some chances to end the game down the stretch there, and we just didn't execute, specifically me. You know, I probably could have made a play or two that could have helped that, but just got to be better next week.
That last bomb that they threw to you looked like you might have lost your balance when you dropped it. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I had it on the way down. I just lost it, but I got to find a way to bring it in.
Offensively, you guys did a lot of running in the first half. Daniel, I think, only had 1 incompletion. It looked like you guys were going to be more efficient, but it never really amounted into a lot of points.
Yeah, we were able to put together like 3 scoring drives back-to-back, I believe, in the first half or something like that, and kind of got a rhythm going, but, you know, ultimately we just didn't execute well enough to get the win.
Darius, thanks very much.
For sure, no problem.
That sound from Darius Slayton brought to you by Ford. Slayton had 6 receptions for 90 yards, that 55-yard long. Today, 5 straight games with 60 or more receiving yards for Darius Slayton, really coming into his own, finding his rhythm this season. But, of course, Victor, we heard Paul Dottino asking Darius about that last catch. That was, you know, would have been a big play, but what happened there? It would have been a huge play. As a receiver, you would like to see him continue to keep his back to the ball and just run under it and see where it takes him. But he jumped a little early, tried to turn and make that two-handed grab, which you want as well. It's in a little bit of traffic. You want to make sure you go up and get it. He just mistimed it just a little bit, and I'm sure it's one he'd want back for sure. Yeah, and anytime as a receiver you get that opportunity, I think what we're seeing is the trust factor from Daniel Jones. He trusts that Darius is going to make those plays. Because, look, those throws, he's not open when he's throwing that football. He's basically saying, Slay, I trust you to make a play, find a way on that big catch. Look, he fought off the defender, you know, maybe got a little vet push, but Slayton's doing such a great job of fighting for the ball, and when you're a quarterback and you have a receiver that you know is going to do that, you trust him, you give him more opportunities. Right, and we saw, too, we were talking about this a little bit, especially towards the end of this game, we were watching it. Daniel Jones was really kind of airing it out today and trusting his arm, trusting his receivers. What did you see from DJ? Well, I thought he did a great job, again, with the accuracy. And I've said it here before in the postgame show. Daniel Jones does not get enough credit for how accurate he is. How about the throw here in overtime? I was just where he had to thread the needle. I mean, it was like smoke through a keyhole that he fit that thing in there. And the confidence to make that throw, the ability to step up in the pocket because he had to absorb that rush that was coming off the left side.
that was phenomenal. How about the fourth down play or the 3rd and 10 to Hodges? I think when you look at what Daniel Jones is doing, and look, he's not doing it with a lot of receivers that have a lot of yardage after catch. It's not a lot of vertical throws. It's precision passing, and that's where Daniel Jones has really excelled. And look, you can't forget about what he's doing with his legs. He is a true weapon with the football in his hands as a runner, and he showed up time and time again.
Yeah. Well, as a runner, as a passer, he was using the option as well. The defense, though, we spoke about the defense off the top of this show. A player who's made a really big impact, Azeez Ojulari. He's dealt with injuries. He's back on the field today, making plays. He's down on the field with our Paul Dottino right now. Let's send it down.
Azeez, I know a tie isn't exactly what you wanted, but what are the feelings as you walk off this field?
Man, we just know we got a lot of work to do. We got to find a way to close it next time and just keep working, keep our head down, keep going.
You had one of the craziest strip sacks and fumble recoveries I've ever seen. Take me through that play. It was certainly a big one.
Man, I just beat the tight end in front of me, won my one-on-one matchup, and then when I got there, I'm going for the ball, man, trying to make a game-changing play. And I got the ball out and fell on it.
And then Zimenez had it, and then he lost it, and then you got it. Did you ever lose sight of the ball?
Nah, I just hopped on it. Once I seen my guy Ox didn't have it, I just stayed on it.
You had only played 2 games up until this particular day. I mean, that's got to say a lot for you to be able to come right off the bench, shake off the rust, and produce.
Oh, yes, sir, man. Just try to get back right, get healthy, and just take it one day at a time. And just thank God I'm able to come back out here and, play the game I love.
How much better can this pass rush get now that you're back in the lineup?
Man, sky's the limit.
Azeez, thanks very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That sound from Azeez Ojulari brought to you by Ford. He had a forced fumble and fumble recovery today. Clutch one in the first half of this game. 1 tackle, 1 sack for Azeez Ojulari, making a big impact on this Giants defense. And guests of our post-game show received a gift certificate to Ben and Jack's Steakhouse, located on 44th Street in Manhattan. From the celebrated porterhouse to finer seafood, Ben and Jack's will surpass your expectations of what a steakhouse should be. We've got much more to come here on the show. Giants post-game live continues after this quick break. We'll hear from head coach Brian Daboll in his vintage starter jacket on Legacy Night after the break.
What if you could own a moment? A moment when everything is on the line. I know the moment I'd want. Sunday, January 16th, the playoffs. We couldn't miss. That's a moment I'd like to own forever. Now, you can too. Own the moments that matter. NFL all day.
It's finally here. The Ford Get Holiday Ready sales event featuring the best offers of the year. Bring the extended family across all terrain, all the presents, and even the tree. You've got the power to make spirits bright. Inventory is arriving daily, so come on in and let Ford help you slay that ride. Now, take immediate delivery of a 2022 Ford F-150 with 2.9% financing for 60 months.
10 years ago, we started Untuckit out of my apartment, and today we have more than 80 stores worldwide. It's been quite a journey. We didn't just create shirts designed to be worn untucked, we perfected them. With great fabrics and design at the perfect untucked length, so you can look sharp in this new business comfortable world. Just look for our signature sale. Untuck It, 10 years in the making, and we're nowhere close to stopping. Find the perfect holiday gift at untuckit.com today.
You know, most Knicks fans have that true diehard love for the Knicks, and it coincides with my dream to have a restaurant. It's hard to put into words how you feel when you see this piece. I just make empanadas, but there's a lot of love and art that goes into that.
Wins are hard to come by in this league. And we got a scrappy bunch.
The fans certainly did their part.
They absolutely did.
Coach, let's get into some plays.
You try to coach that the best you can. But remember, it's still about our preparation and our process.
We got a whole crew of Giants fans up here at Section 144 for Giants Postgame Live. Don't miss Giants football at MetLife Stadium this season, fans. Limited tickets are available for remaining home games. Visit Giants.com/tickets to find your game and secure your seat today. Fans out here showing full support after this Giants-Commanders tie today here at MetLife Stadium. Yes, there was a tie. We're still getting used to that one. Gano attempted a 58-yard field goal at the end of overtime. overtime as seconds were coming off the clock, and it was just short. And this one ends in a 20-20 draw. Victor, I mean, have you ever played in a tie in your career?
I've never played in a tie. Not even in street football, pickup and tackle did we ever choose to end in a tie. It just doesn't happen. Just not used to it. But the players have to understand they didn't do enough to win the game. They had opportunities on both sides of the ball, to be honest. Both teams had opportunities, but the Giants specifically had more than enough opportunities, especially down the stretch in the fourth quarter and overtime, to really come through the other side and win the football game. And they just didn't take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, a tie in right now, it feels like somebody just went pow and hit you right in the gut.
In the legacy game.
You worked so hard, the legacy game, and it's like, all right, that's it. It's a wrap. Like, it just, the energy just falls right off a cliff. But the Giants have nobody to blame but themselves right now. Offensively, you've got the ball with 3rd and 2. You got a chance right there at the 45-yard line to get a first down, and Saquon Barkley runs into Richie James in the backfield, and Daniel Jones ends up taking a 2-yard loss. Like, that can't happen. All right, that can't happen in high school football, in college football, certainly not in professional football in the legacy game. Like that right there, to me, was a huge gaffe offensively. There's no excuse for it.
I mean, think about it. It's 3rd and 3 in that moment. Let's say they get the first down. That momentum could propel them into the end zone, and they win the football game. It's literally that simple.
Right.
You know, in a sense, you get that, you complete that 3rd and 3. You got a fresh set of downs. You get the playbook's wide open. You're on the fringe. You got any players available at your disposal, and we just didn't take advantage of it.
Yeah, and, they were making the moves down the field. They were dinking and dunking, kind of taking what the defense was giving them 5-10 yards at a time. What changed? Did you see it change in their approach, or just,
I did. I think it's just when you have those setbacks. I remember being on an offense when Eli and we're rolling and we're doing things, and we get that one penalty, right? Or we get that one botched play or that one big drop that you just kind of just takes the wind out of your sails. So I think that's what happened on that specific play. Now the players are looking up. They're like, man, it's 4th and 3. Okay, trying to build to get to that next play, to get to that next play, that next possession, and they just couldn't do it. That literally is that simple in football, Madelyn, as an offense, for sure.
Keeping it simple right there. We've got a lot more coming up on the show. We're keeping it simple in this break as well. Giants had the ball 28 minutes. Washington 41. That's a big glaring stat right there. Time of possession. We've got more to come, though. We're going to hear from head coach Brian Daboll after the break. But first, want to remind you, the Giants mobile app, New York Giants official mobile app, is your destination for all things New York Giants. The official updated mobile app includes the best Giants highlights, news, videos, photos, and podcasts. Available for free on Apple and Android phones and tablets.
It's said we make 35,000 decisions a day. That's a lot to keep track of. But with the right insights from citizens, the money decisions feel easier.
Find out where that road leads. Take on any challenge. When you have the #1 brand and dependability, you stop thinking about what you can't do and start doing what you never thought possible. Get 2.9% APR for 48 months plus 500 trade assist cash on the new 2023 Forte.
Every day, nearly 2 million customers across New Jersey rely on PSE&G to provide natural gas. And every day, PSE&G is committed to doing it safely. That includes making sure you know what to do if you smell gas. A natural gas leak smells like rotten eggs. If you suspect a gas leak, leave your home immediately. Get far away, then call 911. Remember, smell, leave, call. Protect the ones you love. Learn more at pseg.com/gas safety.
Find out where that road leads. Take on any challenge. When you have the #1 brand and dependability, you stop thinking about what you can't do and start doing what you never thought possible. Get 2.9% APR for 48 months plus 500 trade assist cash on a new 2023 Forte.
Come back to the ultimate rock Christmas tradition. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert. Presented by Hallmark Channel. Millions have made this their must-see holiday event of the season. Tuesday, December 27th, 2 shows, 3 and 7:30 p.m. at Prudential Center. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestras, the Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO, and more.
Time now for the scoring drive of the game, presented by HCL Tech, supercharging progress, the official digital transformation partner of the New York Giants. Scoring drive of the game, we take you to the second quarter. 5 plays, 81 yards, took 2 minutes and 38 seconds off the clock, capped by a 13-yard rushing touchdown from Saquon Barkley. Saquon would finish the day with 63 yards rushing, eclipsing the 1,000-yard rushing mark for the 3rd time in his career on the season. That's the scoring drive of the game, brought to you by HCL Tech, supercharging progress. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day. Guys, that drive was a quick one, a great offensive drive for this Giants team, including that Darius Slayton catch that we talked about earlier in the show. Daniel Jones aired it out, 55 yards. But before we break this one down, head coach Brian Daboll is now headed to the podium. Let's send it down there, presented by Ford.
How we doing? Good. Tough, hard-fought game, division game. Thought both teams play hard. Left a couple plays out there. So get ready to go play Philly, get the tie, and move on.
What do you make of the tie?
Yeah, we punted it. We punted it there. I think we're on a 43. Try to back them up like we did. And when Dex got that sack, we had 2 timeouts. Trying to get another possession there. If you go for it, it's, there was conversation to go for it versus not go for it. We had the 2 timeouts. You go for it and miss it. There's short field. They go get a win against a division team. So, that's what we decided to do.
I'm just talking more generally, what do you think of finishing a game in a tie? It's like an awkward situation. Are you happy with that you finished in a tie?
No, you always like to win the game. But, there's some things we can do better, and that's what we'll try to do.
Stretch of the first half.
Yeah.
You guys have 3rd and 1 on the 11.
Yeah.
You want to take a shot at the end zone?
Was it a first down or not? We called the play. We thought that might hit it. Obviously didn't get it and ended up with 3 points. Obviously we want 7, but, I thought Kafka handled that drive going down the field good.
So you weren't looking for take your 3rd and 1?
We had one, but we threw an underneath play because they took it away with the coverage that we got. We had Saquon down the sideline on a wheel route, another 7 route, but, Daniel made a good decision on it.
How do you feel like the emotion of the room is like in there? Kind of to Jordan's question a little bit. Are guys pissed that you tied? I mean, what's the emotion? What do you think the emotion should be in there amongst them?
Just get ready to work. The guys competed their tails off. Ended up tying rather than winning. But everybody's ready to go. Get ready to go next week.
Coach, on that 3rd and 2 play in overtime.
Yeah.
Richie James and Saquon.
Yeah. No, they were fine. There was a miscommunication there. So that put us at 4th and 3. But play that we need to do better at.
What was the explanation on the Feliciano on Sportsmanlike?
He was flexing. He was going up to Slayton, and saying, hey, good job, strong run. But it was close. It was in all those players. So, again, how the guy looks at it, interprets it, I don't think he can hear what John's saying to Slayton. So they ended up calling it, which was obviously, we shouldn't even be in that situation. We get the ball there. It's going to be a first down. We're at 35, probably make it a 2-score game. Those are things we can't even make it close.
At the end of the first, though, the 3rd and 1 run call.
Yeah.
Why not
throw to the end zone on that one.
Yeah, no. You know, he called one that we thought was going to hit. You know, we could have done that, Pat, but we didn't.
Can you overrule that?
Yeah, I can overrule it. Every decision that's made, you can put on me. No, every decision, I thought it was fine. I think he had a good feel for what he was doing. You know, but every decision that is made, regardless of what it is on me.
Would you do that differently, though? Because, I mean,
What's that?
Would you have done that differently, thinking back on it? Because you don't give yourself an opportunity if the run doesn't work. If you pass and it doesn't work, obviously you still give yourself an opportunity there.
Yeah, no, I understand the question. Look, we ended up getting 3 points and went into halftime.
We had a long stretch from the end of the third quarter almost to the end of regulation where it was all 3 and outs or 4 and outs. What was going on with the offense during that stretch?
They were executing better than we were. You know, they had better play calls than we had.
Who you see Azeez and Daniel coming back from the injury? Do you think they're 100%?
Azeez and Evan?
No, Daniel Bellinger.
Bellinger.
Well,
yeah.
three of them. How do you see them? At 100%, or you think they can take a little bit more?
Yeah, I think we go back and watch the tape, and I thought those guys competed, though.
What was your target for Graham there? Obviously, at some point, you got to kick it.
On the last play?
Yeah.
It was probably a little bit closer than that, but, you know, it was 5 seconds left. We knew the clock would run out. It was a 58-yarder. You know, we tried to get a little bit closer on the play before, but, you know, that would have been a tough kick.
Back to the 4th and 3, like you made that statement in the first game, you went for 2, so aggressive and rallied around.
Yeah. Well, I think it's later in the season, Dan, and I think you have those conversations leading up to games, a wide variety of things that, you know, could happen, could not happen. You know, to punt it and put them down there, I thought our defense had a chance to keep them down there, and maybe we get the ball back with, call it 35 seconds, somewhere around there, somewhere around midfield, and give ourselves another chance rather than if you don't get it, and then they kick a field goal they only have, and they were going with the wind. So that's a decision that I made.
When you're doing that in your head, are you playing the game as much so as, well, if this backfires, worst case, we might be looking at a tie compared to if you go for it and you don't get it, worst case, you know, they could be kicking.
Yeah, I think those conversations are all happening. It's not just in my head. I'm talking with a couple guys, and we're going through some things. You know, would have been different if it was 4th and 1 versus 4th and 3 potentially. So I think those things come into play. But again, you know, at 4th and 3 there, after the play we just had before that, and with 2 timeouts, thought that was the best thing to do.
All right, how much of that calculation is how your offense was playing at the time of 4th and 3?
Well, I'd say some of it is from the play before, too. You know, so, you know, you don't execute. You know, we're 4th and 3 instead of 4th and 1. I just thought, look, the decision that we made, I'm good with. You know, I felt comfortable with. And went down. We almost ended up getting the ball out of them. You know, had a chance at the end. Could have had it a little bit closer, but that's the decision based on where we were at on the field and the time of the game and the situation that we're in that we felt was best.
If you trusted your defense to get that stop by pinning them back, why not trust them to get a stop in the event?
You know, it's a little bit different yards there, Pat. You know, I mean, it's
game, right?
I got you, but you're calling 15, 20 yards versus a long way to go. So, you know, that's why we made the decision we made.
How did you feel about the sack by Ojulari at that time? Do you think it changed the trajectory of the game at that time?
The one we got the ball out? Yeah. No, I thought Azeez did some good things, you know, on his limited snap count.
What about the pass rush today? Was this as good as it's been all year?
Yeah, I thought they played well. You know, they rolled guys in. We rolled guys in. Got some pressure on those guys. I thought they played well. I thought, you know, there's a few things there, here and there. We could have done a little bit better job. Everything starts with me, and that's what we'll do. Get back to work.
On the deep ball where Daniel and Slayton couldn't connect.
What I see? So we had a chance to make it, and we didn't make it.
Throws, you got it. Like, what was your take on the play?
I saw him jump. It hit his hands. He was coming down and bounced out of his, you know, it's a football play. Bounced out of his hands. I thought we had a levels play there called, and coverage kind of broke, and we had a chance on it. We just didn't connect on it.
You had back-to-back deep balls, the one in Slayton.
Yeah, that was a levels play, and it popped open, and the next one we went to the boundary side and, you know, tried to give Slay another chance there.
I know you have to look at film, but what was your take on Gilbert, his first NFL action?
I think he did some good things. You we'll evaluate the tape. But I thought he came in, competed, and was played a pretty good game.
What happened with Darnett?
He had a shoulder.
So his decision to play was injury related?
It was.
Behind.
It was.
In your estimation, like, what do you make of it? What does a tie do for your playoff chances at this point?
We'll figure it out. I mean, there's a long way to go. It's better than if it was a loss. Not as good if it was a win.
Like a couple more.
What do you think of how Saquon ran, especially early?
Thought he ran good. Yeah. Hit some draws. There was a couple plays where weren't blocked as good as we needed them to be blocked, and a couple people in the backfield. Very confident in Saquon.
How do you feel about a guy running out of bounds on plays where he might be able to stay in and lower his shoulder?
I mean, I'd have to look at the tape. What play are you talking about?
There were a couple in the first half.
Like which ones?
There was one to your sideline where he kind of turned his shoulder back and backed out of bounds, kind of.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the tape, Pat. I think Saquon's a tough guy. I think if he has decisions to make, he usually makes the right decisions with the ball in his hand based on the angles and what the defense is doing. I know I just remember the last one we threw it out to the flat, and it was different. It was kind of a different angle of the defender, but I have a lot of confidence in Saquon.
Brian, overall, your thoughts on Daniel's game today? Didn't throw a completion to the very end.
Yeah, I thought he played. I thought he played a pretty good game.
Okay. All right. Locker room's
Hey,
open.
guys.
Azeez and Daniel.
That sound from head coach Brian Daboll, brought to you by Ford, recapping a Giants-Commanders tie. Yes, a tie. Giants and Commanders finished tied at 20 in this one, week 13. We've got much more to come after the break. We're going to hear from Kayvon Thibodeaux, but first, the Giants' official connected TV streaming app, Giants TV, brings original video content and game highlights on demand and direct to Big Blue fans. Giants TV is free on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV, and in the Giants mobile app.
Everyone loves an underdog story. You know why? Because it fills you with hope, makes you believe, right? Hold on now. Did you say any team? So now I can bet the overdog for underdog odds? Team Overdog, where you at? Let me hear you.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5 to win $200 if your team wins. Action's so good, why bet NFL anywhere else?
Comfort is for every room in your home and everyone. When you take steps to improve your energy efficiency, you can enjoy all your favorite spaces just a little bit more. A home energy assessment is a great place to start. PSC&G offers expert advice to identify energy-saving opportunities in every room, and we'll help you pick the home energy assessment that's right for you. That's relaxation just the way you like it. Brought to you by PSC&G.
Not again.
For the gifts you won't forget. Happy holidays from Mercedes-Benz.
We are terrible. We're getting killed out there.
Woo! Put me in, coach!
No offense, Rick, but I've seen you skate, and it's not good.
Are you talking to me, Pat? Are you talking to me? I don't think so. Get me mad.
What?
Get me mad!
Robes are stupid. Wrestle his face. We lied when we said we liked your poetry. You look like a dying bird. A sick, baby, dying bird.
You can do better.
Your out-of-warranty car broke down. You hadn't called CarShop before it did. And now you're stuck with an expensive car repair bill that you can't afford.
You two punks don't get it. I'm Rick. Woo!
He's a werewolf!
CarShield wins. Don't get mad. Call CarShield.
Call CarShield now before it's too late.
Giants fans ready to take repping your team to the next level? NFL All Day is the ultimate new way to showcase your Giants fandom. Built for the digital world. Collect your favorite moments from stars like Saquon Barkley and use them to compete for epic fan prizes. Try it out today on NFLAllDay.com. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by none other than NFL All Day. Madelyn, Burke, Shaun, O'Hara, Victor Cruz hanging out here as Giants improved to 7-4-1. Yes, 7-4-1 after a 2020 tie with the visiting Washington Commanders, which earlier before the break we heard Brian Daboll express that even he was surprised to see that outcome.
Yeah, you could tell he's like unsure how to even process the tie and everything, but he did say that they left some plays out there, and that you can relish in. Those are things you can fix as a football team. Those are things you can harp on in the meeting rooms, and they just got to learn from it and turn the page. We're going to see this team in a couple weeks here, and we got a big one next week as well before we get back to them. And they're going to have to learn pretty quickly.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind is disappointed. You can kind of hear in the tone,
Yeah.
and I think the players feel that same way as well. Disappointed, and when they turn on the film tomorrow, Vic, they're going to feel even worse.
Yeah.
Because they're going to look at it and say, man, we had so many chances, so many opportunities to win the football game. We heard him talking about the penalty by Feliciano where he's flexing, but he was doing it at Slayton, like, congratulations.
Yeah.
That play right there, it haunts them. And tomorrow when they watch it again, it's going to haunt them again. We talked about a 3rd and 2 gaffe at the end of the game there. I think there was a lot of missed opportunities. The Slayton catch, you know, I'm sure he's kicking himself for not being able to corral that. He didn't survive the ground, as they say. But when they're watching the film, there's a lot of good that happened. You know, I thought that the run game was effective. Saquon didn't have a monster game. When you look at his average yards per carry, I mean, he was decent. He had one big run, but they never took over the game at any point. I will say this. I want to give a shout out to Nick Gates because he started at left guard. We saw him start at center on Thursday night against the Dallas Cowboys. But for Nick Gates, a little over a year ago, broke his leg, fractured it 2 spots against this same team, the Washington Commanders. So for him to come out and start at left guard, ironically, when he got hurt, he was making his very first start at left guard against the Washington Commanders. So
Wow.
I thought he did a really good job of handling. Look, there were some bad plays and some sloppy plays, but those 2 defenders, Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, they have been a nightmare. The Washington Commanders lead the NFL in quarterback pressures, and they were not really a factor in the passing game today.
Absolutely. Nick Gates, a great story right there. Full circle moment for Nick Gates. An early moment for Kayvon Thibodeaux, of course. Rookie year, had his 2nd career sack today on quarterback Taylor Heineke. Let's send it down to the locker room to hear from Kayvon.
So with about a minute and a half left in overtime, you get the sack at about the 1-foot line. How close did you think you were to getting that safety, which would have ended it?
Man, I thought it was. You know, we talked about, you know, we thinking it was a safety for a second, but no, it wasn't. But that would have definitely been one of those great moments to, you know, have lived.
We have talked about how you have been coming on lately and getting the pressure and getting the impacts on the game. Again, this is another indication of what you can do when you're right.
Yeah, I'm a guy who's going to keep his nose down. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep getting better. You know, I know things never go your way in this game all the time. So, you know, when you do get the chances to make plays, you got to make them.
What about the stand in overtime? I mean, aside from that sack, they got the ball twice, and all they got to do is get a touchdown or even a field goal after that second possession. But you guys held up. Your defense really played well.
I think we just played for each other. You know, we had a huddle on the field right before, you know, that drive happened, and we talked about, you know, landing on the line, and we done came this far. So, you know, it's time to make that stand, and a lot of guys stepped up.
Have you ever been part of a tie at any point in your career, even going back to high school?
Never. I was actually during the game. It's funny. I was asking the rules about the tie, like, you know, what's the overtime thing? You know, who gets the ball or what? You know, what happens?
It's not like college. You don't go to the 25.
Never. And they were telling me like, yeah, if we don't get it, we tie. Like even it was sometimes they were running the ball, and I'm like, why are they running the ball? Well, it's because they're getting ready for overtime, or they get, you know, it's a few different, you know, ins and outs that I was a part of this game that, you know, I wasn't familiar with.
Knowing how much you guys wanted this game and how important it was, what kind of taste does the tie leave you with? I guess it's probably mixed, right?
For me, it was definitely unfamiliar. Like when I walked off, no, the crowd wasn't booing, they weren't cheering, there was no noise. So that was different. But I think, you know, within here, we know we just got to keep getting better. You know, we didn't have the outcome that we wanted, so we just got to continue to get better and, you know, prepare for Philadelphia.
Kayvon, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Paul Dottino bringing that sound from Kayvon Thibodeaux, brought to you by Ford. Kayvon had his 2nd career sack today, 2 tackles, 2 assists, 5 combined today as, once again, Giants Commanders finish in a tie that surprised a lot of people. We've got much more to come, but first, follow the Giants on social media. You can follow the Giants on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, and on YouTube for the latest team coverage, breaking news, and content. After the break, we're going to hear from Giants running back Saquon Barkley. Eclipses the 1,000-yard mark on the season. That much more coming up on Giants Postgame Live. Stay with us.
What if you could own a moment? A moment when everything is on the line. I know the moment I'd want. Sunday, January 16th, the playoffs. We couldn't miss. That's a moment I'd like to own forever. Now, you can too. Own the moments that matter. NFL all day.
Each year, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital works to improve the lives of kids and their families around the world. And this holiday season, Kia wants to help. We're continuing our tradition of helping others by expanding Kia's Accelerate the Good partnership with St. Jude and making a donation for every new car purchased during the holidays. Join us and help celebrate Kia's season of giving back. Kia, movement that inspires.
It's said we make 35,000 decisions a day. That's a lot to keep track of. But with the right insights from citizens, the money decisions feel easier.
We believe there's an innovator in all of us. That's why we build technology that makes it possible for every business and every person to come to the table and do more incredible things.
Don't miss the tradition you love. Now with the newly reimagined scene, Dance of the Frost Fairies. In the Christmas Spectacular starring the Radio City Rockettes, presented by QVC. This is the year to see the immersive, one-of-a-kind holiday celebration. Get your tickets now at Rockettes.com and experience spectacular.
Graham, going into the final kick, how close did you think you needed to get based on the conditions?
We were about 5 yards away from it. You know, we knew that going in. But I mean, at the end of the game, you got to take a shot at it. So, I hit a good ball. It's just, you know, going into the wind that way, cold. That's just the way it is. You know, it's something I wish I could hit further, but you know, tried to give it a chance.
So you thought the operation was good?
Oh yeah, operation was fine. I thought it was smooth. Yeah, hit a good ball, just not enough. But yeah, I mean, when going that way, we knew we had to get a little bit closer, but at the end, you have to take a shot like that.
This one was 58. When you're kicking one that far, does anything change in your approach as opposed to when you're kicking one that's closer?
No. I know a lot of people think you got to line drive it, but you got to hit the same kick. It's just tough, you know. If I really don't know what to say about it. I hit a good ball and just wish we, you know, had gotten to our line.
So when you hit it, you thought it was going to go. You thought it was going to be good.
I could tell. I didn't have enough. Yeah, I could tell right off the foot. Yep. You know, I wanted to kick it straight. It went straight. Just not enough leg on it.
That sound from Graham Gano brought to you by Ford. Of course, Graham Gano, 2 made field goals out of 3 attempts. That 58-yard game winner in overtime was just short. Usually Graham Gano in that range. But you know what? That's okay. You win some, you lose some, you make some, you miss some. There were a lot of moments in this game that we have to highlight, too, because I want to make sure we give a lot of love to some of the players who had some great games, like Isaiah Hodgins we brought up in the break.
Hodgins, I mean, a phenomenal route down in the end zone, turned the corner around completely. DJ hit him with a great strike, and then really just the sheer will on 3rd and 10 to be able to catch the ball short of the first down, bounce off guys. I mean, that's great awareness that, as you know, receivers will have to have.
And again, that just builds more trust with Daniel Jones. If I know I can throw it to you if it's 3rd and 10 and you're at the 8-yard mark, you're going to fight for those 2 yards, and that's going to get you the ball next time on 3rd and short, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. So just having that confidence continues to build throughout the season and throughout the players.
And getting that offense going. And one player is imperative to getting this offense going is Saquon Barkley. He's now speaking in the locker room. Let's send it down.
Saquon, have you ever been part of a tie before at any level of football?
No.
What does that feel like? Is it more frustration, disappointment, or is it kind of just bland?
I mean, it sucks, obviously. You go out there, you want to compete, you want to win, and you put your bodies on line and you come out with a tie. It doesn't feel good for either team. But hey, just got to treat it like if it's a win or if a loss. Got to go back in, watch film, get ready for the next opponent, and put it past and move on. Get better from it, too.
You guys had the ball 3 times in overtime, twice got into Washington territory. How frustrating was it not to be able to get the winning points?
Frustrating. We didn't win the game. That's on us. We got to do a better job.
Saquon, what did you think of the offense's performance in the second half?
Not good enough. We just didn't execute. We didn't execute. We had momentum coming in. We didn't execute on that. We didn't make the plays all around. That's just it.
Saquon, the 3rd down play when it looked like it was big confusion in the backfield. What happened there?
We just didn't execute on that play either.
Did everyone know what the play was? And was everyone sure what was going on?
Yeah, we just didn't execute it.
Is that the player ran into Richie almost?
Yeah.
What did you think of the penalty on John for taunting?
I gotta go back and watch it. I mean, from what I saw, I thought he was celebrating with his teammate, but hey, it is what it is.
Saquon, on 4th down, were you hoping that he would let you guys go for it and try to win the game instead of punting?
I mean, as a competitor, you want to go out there and make those plays, but at the end of the day, Dave's going to make the decisions to put us in the best case to win a game. And he was doing a really good job of that all year, and we're not going to start questioning now.
Have you ever been involved in a tie?
No.
What did you feel like walking off the field?
Don't feel good. Sucks.
How did you feel you played?
All around, like I said, we didn't do enough. I didn't do enough. I didn't make enough plays. That's why we came with a tie.
You said it feels like a loss. Was that kind of the message after the game? What was the message after the game?
I wouldn't say that was a message. The message was get better, come back, learn from this, and move on. But at the end of the day, just the feeling, got a sour taste in your mouth after a tie. That's really what it is. That's why it feels like a loss. But like I said, go back, watch film, improve, and get better from it.
What were your emotions like at this game, going down 10 early to going up late in the second half and then the opportunity?
We responded. We were down 10 points. We responded, and we got to put ourselves in a position to win a football game, and we didn't do that. That's the NFL. That game is going to have ups and downs. You can't waver, and we didn't do that. But when we needed the most, we didn't execute and make the plays.
Thank you, Saquon.
That sound from Saquon Barkley brought to you by Ford. He had 18 rush attempts for 63 yards and a 13-yard rushing touchdown. This is his 3rd season now with 100 or more rushing yards already on the ground. We've got much more to come here on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day. After the break, we're going to hear from Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. That and much more. Stay with us. Madelyn, Burke, Shaun O'Hara, Victor Cruz after the break.
Everyone loves an underdog story. You know why? Because it fills you with hope, makes you believe, right? Hold on now. Did you say any team? So now I can bet the overdog for underdog odds? Team Overdog, where you at? Let me hear you.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5 to win $200 if your team wins. Action's so good, why bet NFL anywhere else?
It's finally here. The Ford Get Holiday Ready sales event featuring the best offers of the year. Bring the extended family across all terrain. All the presents and even the tree. You've got the power to make spirits bright. Inventory is arriving daily, so come on in and let Ford help you slay that ride. Now, take immediate delivery of a 2022 Ford F-150 with 2.9% financing for 60 months.
As a mom, I always seem to be doing 2 things at once.
I'm always on the go, so I was happy to hear
that I could get a flu shot and updated COVID-19 booster at the same time.
It will keep our family safe.
And reduce the risk of serious illness.
And make sure we don't end up in the hospital.
Get your flu shot and COVID-19 vaccine or updated booster. Safe to get at the same time.
It's twice the protection and twice the peace of mind.
Call 311 or visit nyc.gov/vaccine finder.
Attention timeshare owners. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently. Call the number on your screen today.
If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Hey, Giants fans, check out the Coach Daboll Show presented by Stop and Shop. We'll look back on today's game and look ahead at next week's matchup. It's the Coach Daboll Show, airing every week on MSG Networks and on the Giants social media platforms. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day. The Giants and Commanders finish at a tie, 20-20. Let's send it down to hear from Giants quarterback Daniel Jones.
I think we're all pretty disappointed with the result. Certainly not the one we were looking for. So we'll go back to work and clean up a lot of things. But yeah, I think it's safe to say we're disappointed, but looking forward to getting back to work and working on the things we got to improve on.
You're 4th and 3 in overtime. Did you feel like you wanted to have the ball in that chance offensively, 4th and 3 in overtime?
Yeah, I mean, I think those situations, our coaches and he's got a group of people who study those situations and make the best decision for us in the game situation. So I understand that, and we had a chance, got the ball back, had a chance to go down and kick it. So. Yeah, I understand.
You mentioned you're disappointed in the result. How much do you almost view it as a loss? I mean, that's what it kind of sounds like when I'm listening to you talk about it.
Well, it's not a loss. It's not a win either. So I think you understand that part of it. But I think just disappointed that we could have played better, could have taken advantage of some situations and won the game. So that's the disappointing part. But it's not a loss. I think we understand that. But we'll look to improve going forward.
That sound from quarterback Daniel Jones, brought to you by Ford. He had 25 of 31 attempts for 200 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Also added a few with his legs as well, 71 yards on 12 attempts. But, the important thing to highlight here, too, especially in the run game, is Saquon Barkley. We've mentioned this a few times in the show. His 3rd 1,000-yard season already at this point in the season. Victor, you and I were talking about this a little bit in the break, how significant that is.
Yeah, it's huge, especially a guy coming off of injury, coming off a severe injury from a year ago, and being able to come back, being able to show that resolve, show that resiliency, show that he's healthy, prove that he can be that every down back that we know that we drafted him here to be. And I think it's just huge. It's huge for his morale. Coming from a guy that's faced his fair share of injuries and come back from them, you just feel good when you come back validated and you have 1,000 yards under your belt. And still with a ton more season to go, he can easily get that to 3 and 1,400. So we'll see what happens here. But shout out to Saquon. Continue to do your thing. Continue to lead this team just like Daniel Jones from the front.
Yeah, not just 1,000 yards rushing, but coming into the game, he was leading the league in touches overall. So you look at that aspect of it. And for Saquon, it's never been about his ability. It's been about the availability. And I think for him this season, it was all about improving his durability.
Yep.
So when you look at what Saquon has done, look, he's been the MVP of this team, no doubt about it. They would not be where they are right now if it hadn't been for Saquon Barkley and some of the things he's done this season. But I also look at it like, all right, we've seen a little bit of a lull offensively from Saquon or from the Giants because everybody looks at it and says, okay, look, if we take that away from you, what else can you beat us with? And I don't think the Giants have really figured that out yet. They haven't had a chance, and they haven't had a game where to say, look, here's our answer to that. Like, you take Saquon out, all right, we've got somebody else that can step up. Every week it seems like somebody else is trying to. It's Slayton, it's Hodges. It was Bellinger before he got hurt. But that's how this offense is, and that's just how they're going to be. They can't have mistakes. They can't have fumbles. Credit to the defense for only holding them to a field goal early on in the game. But I will say this about Daniel Jones. The early fumble, like the way that he bounces back right now from catastrophes like that, from turnovers, I think that says a lot about his mental toughness and his fortitude.
And Daniel Jones, 71 yards rushing. I feel like when the RPO gets going and that threat of Daniel Jones using his legs also helps Saquon Barkley get going as well. That balance is imperative. Saquon Barkley, the leading running back vote getter in the Pro Bowl, too. Make sure to vote for your favorite Giants.
Of course.
All right, we've got much more to come here on the program. Giants legacy game as we recap it here on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day, the ultimate new way to showcase your Giants fandom. Visit NFLAllDay.com.
By the time this Giants fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Giants watching. Better with Pepsi.
Find out where that road leads. Take on any challenge. When you have the #1 brand and dependability, you stop thinking about what you can't do and start doing what you never thought possible. Get 2.9% APR for 48 months plus 500 trade assist cash on a new 2023 Forte.
Comfort is for every room in your home and everyone. When you take steps to improve your energy efficiency, you can enjoy all your favorite spaces just a little bit more. A home energy assessment is a great place to start. PSCNG offers expert advice to identify energy-saving opportunities in every room, and we'll help you pick the home energy assessment that's right for you. That's relaxation just the way you like it. Brought to you by PSCNG.
We believe there's an innovator in all of us. That's why we build technology that makes it possible for every business and every person to come to the table and do more incredible things.
By the time this Giants fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Giants watching. Better with Pepsi.
I'll give you something, make you shake it, shake it. You better get yourself ready, 'cause I'm about to do my thing. Oh, hey, hey. I've seen it from the van, now we're dancing on the house. Oh, hey, hey. I'm turning on the dime, now we're flipping on the upside, upside, upside. I'm turning on the dime, now we're flipping on the upside.
Hey Giants fans, check out the Eli Manning Show presented by Panini Prism Trading Cards. All you have to do is subscribe to the Giants YouTube channel to catch all of the new shows every Thursday. It's the Eli Manning Show. This Thursday, December 8th, check out a new episode. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day as we take a look at the NFC East standings. Of course, Dallas playing Sunday Night Football tonight against the Colts. Philadelphia 11-1 ahead of the division. New York and Washington towards the bottom, but the Giants, of course, don't yet have a win within the division. How important is that?
I think obviously going down the stretch here, we have a few division games to kind of get a leg up in that category, but we have to win. I mean, that's the name of the game. For that wild card spot, to winning the division, to any goal that you have set for yourself as a team, it starts with winning the division and getting into the playoffs and then figuring out what comes after that. So they got some work to do in that department for sure.
Yeah, with Philly running away with the division, you know, obviously they're not going to win the division now because they've got too much of a lead, but those divisional wins are huge. And for them to have a goose egg right there, that could haunt them. I think for the Eagles, when you look at them, you know, everybody would say, well, you got to stop the run. They're one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL. They have the best red zone offense in the NFL. So the key for the Giants is this week, it's all about points. Like, you're not going to beat the Eagles with 20 points like you did today. It's not even going to be a close game. They just hung up 35 points on the Titans. Jalen Hurts threw for 380 yards.
Yeah.
So this offense is very balanced. They're very physical up front, and the Giants offense needs to find a way to score points. You're not going to beat them kicking field goals.
Well, and this is such a unique stretch of the season for the Giants as well. They just had Washington today. Washington goes into a bye and then plays the Giants again. So Washington is solely focused on the Giants for 3 weeks straight. Meanwhile, the Giants next week are right back here at MetLife Stadium with the Philadelphia Eagles that you just mentioned, Shaun, coming to town. A tough matchup right there. Very important one. Again, this is their best record in the league for a reason, and an important one that this Giants team shows up for.
Yeah, and listen, the Giants fans, we need you to show up, right? I love the matchup, the Giants versus the Eagles, the Birds, as we'd like to call them. This is always like the most hated rivalry in this division. Look, the Cowboys, one thing, Commanders, another thing. You had some monster games down there in Philly. The Eagles games are different. I had more personal fouls and fines whenever we played the Eagles. They always cost me money.
Yeah. Worth it.
You've got to make sure you keep your composure.
My
but this is definitely a slobber
already
knocker.
boiling.
Yeah,
I'm already excited. I could already feel the animosity coming into the stadium next week. So they got to get their bearings, get their best foot forward, shrug this game off, know that we got a big opponent, division game, got to win it, a must-have in order to go to another division game again in the team that they just played today. So a big 2-week stretch coming up for the Giants.
Absolutely. Big stretch to close out this season. A tough stretch indeed, but the Giants going to have to stack some wins if they want to keep those playoff hopes alive. We will be here, of course, every week after the game. Giants-Eagles next week. Still can't believe this was a tie at the Legacy game. Pow! If you missed it, Rob Riggle, Shaun O'Hara, Eli Manning on the Eli Manning
Saquon.
Show.
Congrats on
Victor
that 1,000,
Cruz,
baby.
Shaun O'Hara, Madelyn Burke. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day. We'll see you next week.
Welcome to Inside the Lines, presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more.